For this activity, we will be practicing nouns and verbs. Let's look at these two, or this sentence. And what we're going to do is we are going to add one verb from this box and one noun from this box in this sentence to make it make sense. So let's first start by reading the sentence together. Josh can blank a blank into the goal. On this first line, we're going to add a verb. What do you do with a goal? Well, let's think here. Do you build? I guess you could build with a goal. Maybe what we need to do is let's look at our nouns. We have eggs into a goal. Would that make sense? Eggs into a goal? No. Bread? Coat into the goal? No. Sandcastle into the goal? No. Ball into the goal? Yes. Josh can blank a ball into the goal. That would make sense. So now let's think about this. What can he do to a ball? Can he build it, read it, cut it, kick it? Kick it! He can kick a ball into the goal. So as a reader, did you see what I did? I read the sentence slowly. I figured out which word made sense. I reread it. Then I thought about what other word would make sense in this sentence. So what I did here was I added a verb first and a noun second. So I used one verb and one noun. Let's try another sentence. Read this sentence with me. Maggie can blank a blank about cats. Can you build something about cats? No, not when I think about the word about. Can Maggie read something about cats? That word makes sense here, to add that verb here. Maggie can read a blank about cats. Now let's see here. What can she read? Eggs? No. Bread? Coat? Sandcastle? Or book? Book. You're right. Maggie can read a book about cats. So again, I used a verb and a noun. Notice how these words are red now. And so if you were doing a paper on this, you would cross out the words that you've used already because you won't use those again. In your next assignment, you will be doing something like this. So pay close attention to what I'm doing. Let's look at another sentence. Justin can blank some blank in a pan. Let's see, what can you do? Because we need a verb in this on this first blank. Can he build in a pan? No, that just doesn't make sense. Can he cut something in a pan? That doesn't sound the best. Can you boil something in a pan? Well, I know that my mom boils water, so that might make sense. Let's try that word. Justin can boil some blank in a pan. Let's see, what can you boil? Can you boil eggs in a pan? You know what? My mom used to boil eggs for salads, and we would eat them in our salad. So that's called a hard-boiled egg. So eggs make sense here to me. Read the sentence with me. Justin can boil some eggs in a pan. Make sure you reread your sentence because you want to make sure it makes sense. Because if I put eggs up here and boil down here, it wouldn't make sense. It would say, Justin can egg some boil in a pan. That doesn't make sense, does it? I need to make sure I reread. Let's look at this one. I like to blank and blank on a cold day. Do I like to build on a cold day? I might be able to build a snowman. So build could go here, but let's see. I like to build and blank on a cold day. Build and bread. Building coat. That, no. Let's see, cut. I like to cut on a cold day? No. I like to wear. Now let's think about that. I like to wear. Oh, you know what? Sometimes writers make mistakes. I think it's wear. I like to wear, and I think this word should say a. Because look here, I think this word should be coat. Does that make sense? This doesn't make sense because they have and. I like to wear and coat on a cold day. I think it should be I like to wear a coat on a cold day. That makes sense. So you know what? You can see that writers and authors of and people that do things often make, they make mistakes. No one's perfect. But by rereading the sentence, wear and coat makes sense here. So I'm going to choose those words. And if I had a pencil, I could cross off this and write the word a. I like to wear a coat on a cold day. I know I like to wear a coat. Do you? Cohen can blank a blank at the beach. Well, what can you do at a beach? You can build something at a beach. Can you cut something at a beach? No. Build would make more sense here. Cohen can build a bread? No. How about sandcastle? That makes sense. Cohen can build a sandcastle at the beach. That makes sense. We have one more, and you know what? This is easy because we have 2 words left. But you know what, boys and girls? We need to make sure they make sense in the sentence. Because if they don't, we did something wrong somewhere else in our other sentences, and we would have to go back and fix those. Because what the directions say to do is to make sure you use one word in each sentence from each box. So let's see if these make sense here. He can cut the blank with a knife. He can cut the bread with a knife. Does that make sense? Do you cut bread? You do. He can cut the bread with a knife. Remember to always read each sentence slowly and think about what makes sense. Great job adding nouns and verbs today, boys and girls.